Hello and welcome into the show. UNADVISED here on the Sports Animal YouTube, Facebook, and right here on our X page as well. Hopefully you can see both of us. We might be having some issues.
I'm going to check.
Yeah, we're gonna double check that real quick. Preston Poole, Tyler Adams with you here. Yeah, you can't see me on the live feed for some reason, so I have no clue what's going on because I can see myself.
I'm just glad it's not on my end for once.
Yes, so this is very weird. We are going to end this and we'll be right back because this is not how this should be right now, because you should definitely be able to see me. Let's see if we can try and fix this right now. We will stop cam, start cam. I wonder if that works. We'll see. I don't know. Can you hear me? People out there, let me know because it's not supposed to be this way. I don't know why this is happening. It's still going. All right. Well, T-Bag, talk amongst yourself. I'm going to try and fix this at the moment, so we want to end this right now.
Oh, now I'm all nervous. Hey guys, let's see. We'll go through the topic list and see. Okay, starting with Thursday night football. Okay, sorry. Now I'm getting distracted by all the comments in here. All right. A little betting advice from T-Bag. Not a good gambler. Not been good at gambling. I've been decent at gambling this year. I've only had to pay the bookie a couple times. I will say this. I was on with the Ultimate today, and I love the Cleveland Browns. Jim Traber liked the Cleveland Browns tonight against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Line's currently at Steelers -3.5. Tomlin is – I was giving betting advice, Preston. We can now see you.
Okay, you can? All right, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what the problem was. But yeah, I heard you, so continue.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say I love the Cleveland Browns tonight. I usually don't like just go out and just say how much I love a bet, but I really do love the bets plus Browns +3.5 tonight. I thought it might be a little bit of a trap game. I don't want to say trap game because I think the Steelers are going to come show out for it, but I do think that this is a typical AFC North game. It's going to be bad weather. It's going to be low scoring, and I think it's going to stay within a field goal, and that half point is just talking to me. So I really do like the Browns +3.5 tonight. So does Jim Traber. If Jim Traber's saying that,
yeah,
I'm gonna listen.
I just can't get behind the Browns at all this season. You know, they're just so bad. Which Jameis coming in, they've been a little bit better since Jameis has came in. So we'll see, man. But yeah, I don't have high hopes. Plus, Russie has been pretty good since he's been starting.
Bad weather tonight, though.
That is true. I forgot it is snow up there and rain and stuff up there in the Northeast and I guess what would you call it, the Great Lakes region. So yeah, that could play a factor, but that is definitely going to hurt me. I took the over in Russell Wilson's yards and George Pickens' yards tonight. So I need him to throw the ball around the yard tonight there. And that one's in Cleveland. Cleveland. That's just a gross place, by the way.
It's gonna be a gross game.
Yeah. All right, enough of that. Let's get into the real news. This actually just dropped
I saw this right before we
20 minutes ago or something like that. And granted, I don't know how big a news this actually is, considering all the changes that will be made on that side of the ball for the Oklahoma Sooners this season. But 4-star Oklahoma quarterback commit, I should say former commit at this point, Kevin Sperry, has flipped from the Sooners to Florida State. So one terrible team to another terrible team. He's got a good what am I trying to say here? He knows how to pick them, right? He goes from Oklahoma to Florida State. I don't think this is some major, oh my God, this is not good for Oklahoma. Because I was driving home this evening listening to Al and Jim, and they're throwing out the names they've heard so far of, who Oklahoma's reached out to be the offensive coordinator. Is Ben Arbuckle at Washington State. Quarterback he has there is a sophomore. I forget the guy's name at Tulane, but the quarterback they have there, Darian Mensah, is a sophomore. So what that leads me to believe is that they will hire probably one of those two guys, and he will bring his quarterback with him.
Yeah, Joe Craddock is a guy.
Yeah, that's right.
I just had to look it up because I was like, we've said the name so many times it feels like. Yeah, Joe Craddock. Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is like the biggest breaking news. When I say breaking news, that's not the right way to put it. I don't think this is the biggest like story of OU football.
It's not the worst thing that's happened to Oklahoma
Yeah,
this season, right?
and even if OU was humming right now or something, like I don't even think this is like. I mean, he's like what, a solid 4-star recruit. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
he's like
there's
the 130 something in the country or something like that.
yeah,
So
like you shouldn't lose sleep over it kind of thing.
yeah.
Like I don't think this is really an indictment on like him like being like, oh, I'm not going to go to OU because they're bad, so I'm going to go to Florida State, who's even worse.
Well, I believe he committed
Like I
when
don't think
Jeff
it is.
Lebby was still the offensive coordinator. So
Yeah, and then he like moved to Carl Albert for a season and moved back to
yes,
Texas.
yeah.
So I don't know. I don't follow recruiting all too much, Preston. I don't
I
know
don't
if you
either.
do.
No,
Like uh to me, the recruiting world is kind of just like a weird place.
very
Like
weird place.
this, like the people that are like the Hayes Fawcett's of the world and stuff that just like put these like deeply like burned graphics of like
Yeah.
of like, these like pictures of quarterbacks and with like quotes of them and stuff. I don't know. It's just like it kind of almost like turns me off. Kind of
Well,
thing. Like
and
this is just it's a weird. It's a weird biz.
for me, it's like I'm not gonna get mad over what a 17 or even 16 at
Yeah.
times year old kid is thinking, because I think back to those days for me, and I'm like, I was just worried about where I was gonna go get drunk at on Friday night after the football game or
And
something
who was
like
gonna get the
that. Yeah.
beer?
Exactly. Like I
Yeah.
was not worried about all this other stuff. So they do not care. And you shouldn't either. You should worry about when they get to campus and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, like recruiting, you need to have like obviously good recruiting. Like I'm not trying to dismiss
yeah,
recruiting. I just the whole like following like high school kids around and stuff just can kind of be like kind of a weird biz to me. And
yeah,
like I get it if you're like covering the team and stuff. Like if you're covering, you know, OU, OSU or whoever,
yeah.
like I like that's different. But I'm just more talking for like the the fans and stuff of the world that are just so into these kids'
They'll
lives.
DM
And then
the kids and
and
all
then
that.
this
Yeah,
like the Twitter world that this has around it that it's evolved to is just I don't know, it's a weird thing. Like it
yeah.
just it's a weird side of college football I'm not a fan of. And I'm a
it's
fan of pretty much everything college football.
it's a little grimy at times,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think this is some massive like, oh, they're screwed in the future. Like I said, they're going to bring in an offensive coordinator. More than likely, that's going to bring in one of their quarterbacks. Because if they bring in the Washington State guy, I can tell you 100% that Oklahoma is a better place to play quarterback at than Washington State.
Probably.
Oklahoma is a better place to play quarterback than Tulane, and those guys I do
Probably.
think are talented. I mean, we even saw Mensa in Norman this last season as Tulane took on the Sooners. He's not a bad quarterback, so
Yeah.
I think if you got either of those guys, you know, bolster up the offensive line, what you really need to do. Now, if they lost the 5-star Michael Fasusi,
Yeah,
that is when we start hitting the panic button if you're a
yeah.
Sooner fan. But right now, that seems to be pretty solid from everything that I've seen online. Again, I don't dive too deep into the recruiting world just because it's a little messy at times. And it's NBA season, it's NFL season. I got a lot of other things to worry about at the moment than worrying about what a 17 or 18-year-old kid is going to do for his college season. But today was a big day for quarterbacks. You know, committing had the kid, I'm blanking on his name, Juju, that was committed to Lincoln Riley and USC. He flips his commitment to Colorado. And then you had Dave Portnoy going out and getting his quarterback for Michigan as, oh, what was that kid's name? He just flipped from, I just had it here in front of me. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name at the moment. I'll pull that up. Underwood, number 1 recruit in 2025, flips from LSU to Michigan. This could be the beginning of the end for Brian Kelly at LSU. And the more we keep, you know, getting closer to this game and I guess a week and a half from now down in Baton Rouge, the more I think the Sooners have a shot, because that program right now at LSU, as bad as things have been at Oklahoma, LSU is just a cesspool. And whenever things
and they don't like their coach.
Exactly.
OU players like Brent Venables. Like they very clearly love and want to fight for Brent Venables. I don't think LSU players give a rat's ass about Brian Kelly.
No, it's a cesspool that's flaring up right now, and you got to go get your shot to take care of that stuff, So
OU players gonna be wearing like masks and stuff when they get to Baton Rouge.
Yes, yeah. So, look, I a month ago I counted the Sooners out for bowl eligibility, but things have changed at LSU to where that place is a dumpster fire right now. So anything is possible.
I've been keeping my eye on this LSU game for OU because there was a moment there where like, all right, LSU's starting to kind of start to hum, and they got blown out by Alabama, and they get blown out by Florida, and that's when you're just like, yeah, these guys just might quit on Brian Kelly here any second now.
Yeah,
I mean, he's just, if you want to talk about a guy that's just not made for LSU, it's Brian Kelly.
Well, that, and he's a douchebag.
And I was like, yes. But I was like trying to explain to my dad the other day. It's like Brian Kelly just doesn't feel like LSU. He's like, well, he's a good coach. It's like, yeah, but like, I think you have to be a certain kind of breed to be at LSU. Like, I can't explain it. My mind can't put it into words. But like, the LSU players are different. The Cajuns are different. All right.
Yeah.
And Brian Kelly, that Yankee, is not meant for Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
No, yeah, and from everything you can tell from stories, he's not a good person. So, makes a lot of sense. So, couldn't have happened to a better guy, is what I'll say if he gets the can there at LSU. But let's talk about this game. I don't know why they're still playing it, but it's going to be played in Norman this weekend, 6:30 on ABC. Somehow, by the grace of God, the Sooners got another primetime game.
I don't think it's a good thing.
It's not. You're just putting yourself out there to get your ass kicked in front of the whole entire world. And can Oklahoma, in your opinion, do you think they can even keep this within 28 points?
Yeah, I mean, I think they keep it within 28 points. I would take Alabama minus 13.5.
Yeah. So you're thinking 21-14, like somewhere in between. The Alabama wins by 21 or 14, somewhere in there.
I'm not saying that per se. I'm just saying they can keep it within 28 points.
Yeah.
I
personally think they're going to get their butts kicked on Saturday.
I cheated on you, Preston. I went on another podcast yesterday. Go to the ZT Pod, Zach Trethway.
Guy. I watched a little bit of that. Yeah.
Went to OSU with him, and we're both from Edmond and stuff. And he asked me, and I was just like, I think this is going to be an ass whooping. I predicted 42-14.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be somewhere in that. I do think OU can keep it close, and I think like it probably won't be that bad. Or I shouldn't say I think when I predict that score. I just think it's going to be an ass whooping. I do think OU can be LSU. I just think Alabama's rolling right now.
Yeah.
They finally seem to maybe found their groove under Kalen DeBoer. They still got playoff. They got to win for the playoff. They got to alert for. Sorry, I'm seeing this.
The paragraph.
Alert.
For Gary, for you, I'll reach out to someone, but we have no control over that. But I will definitely reach out to the people that can get that taken care of, or get at least somebody on that.
My old roommate lives in Tahlequah right now too. He's at the OSU med school there. Anyway, I just think Alabama's just rolling right now, and I think they're going to come in and they're not even going to just mess around with this game.
Yeah, no, I think that if Oklahoma holds Alabama under 35 points on Saturday, you got to kind of just got to say, you know what, that was better than what I thought was going to happen. Right? Like, that was okay. Like they're going to lose. I think everyone out there anticipates that. But if you can keep Alabama under 35 points, I don't see why you can be, too pissed off about that if you're an Oklahoma fan.
Yeah, I mean, just want to see them be competitive more than anything.
Exactly, and I think if you hold them under 35, that is competitive. Yeah,
I think they're going to fight them. I think we had Trace on today, and he talks about a lot. They don't want to let Britain down. Like that's the main thing of them. Like, they don't want to let him down, and so I do think that's one thing that he has going for him. But if I'm an OU fan right now, I'm just like, whatever happens this weekend happens. LSU is the season.
Yeah. No, 100%. And like I said, the closer we get, and maybe Monday or Sunday evening when we do the show again, my opinion's different after watching, whatever happens on Saturday. But at this moment, the closer we get to that LSU game, the more I think that the Sooners have somewhat of a shot. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to go flat out down to Baton Rouge and win and beat LSU, but there's just so much going on off the football field at LSU, in my opinion, that it just makes that game a little bit more.
And they're not going to be playing for anything.
Yeah.
I know it's a night game in Death Valley, but the students are going to be gone for Thanksgiving. Yeah. So, it's not going to be 100% sold out, true, primetime night game Death Valley. It's going to be loud. It's going to be full. Don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be, what you typically think of it. I will say this: I'll take OU plus the points in that game. That's for sure. Unless it's like 3 points or something that I'm not going to. But if it's 10, 11 points, I would take OU plus the points in
that. What do you think the crowd is going to be like in Norman on Saturday? Because personally, you couldn't pay me to go to this game. Like, it's not that it has anything to do with like the weather or anything like that. But
the weather's good though.
Yeah,
so I think it's going to help. Also,
it's like, man, I don't really like going to football games, where the home team gets their ass kicked, Yeah. That's just never any fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Maybe in the upper deck there might be, the corners of the upper deck may not be, 100% full or anything. The lower bowl is going to be sold out. The student section is going to be completely full. Because you can always just leave after. If it's the first quarter sucks, and you just go.
Yeah, no, I get you there. All right, let's see what else. This game does not deserve the 6:30 time slot on ABC at all.
Yeah,
this is a 2:30 kick on SEC Network. That's what this game is, but and I get why it is. It's Oklahoma, it's Alabama. Those are two of the biggest names all time in college football. It's going to be, even though Oklahoma is having a down season, it's going to be one of the most watched games all weekend in college football just because of those two names. So I get it. I understand why the four letters put it on their network. So, Sawchuk expected to be back for the Sooners. Deion Burke's out. He took that hard hit a couple weeks ago at Missouri that rung his bell. So he'll be I think he was doubtful is what he was listed as. So I'm just saying he's out.
Yeah.
I would just go ahead and say that. All right. How about Oklahoma State taking on Texas Tech? Texas Tech, a 3.5-point favorite in this one. And I say only 3.5. Has Vegas not watched the Cowboys this season?
Well, so I'll say this. What's the word I'm looking for? Disclaimer. Yeah. I did take when I'm voting for the little hump man this week. He's actually on a badass trip right now. It's in New York.
I saw those
West
pictures.
Point Notre Dame game on Saturday. But so I'm filling in for him this week. So we did the picks on middle of the day show with Mark and Brad, and I did take Texas Tech minus 3.5. So I do think that Texas Tech, I would bet on that. I'm not going to, but I would take that side of it. I will say I think it's kind of a decent number because Tech has an awful defense too. I do think that the seniors know, because there's so many seniors, there's so many people. This is the last game. I do think they're going to show up and play. Now they're not good, so how far can that get you? But I don't think this is. I think there's been moments of this season where they quit. I don't think Saturday will be a day that they quit. The Friday game in Colorado, I don't think there's going to be any much of a fight there.
Yeah.
But I do think this is kind of like their last, hurrah kind of thing. And Texas Tech has some injuries, so I do think it's probably a decent number. I would take Tech. I don't think it's going to be a total blowout. I would say Tech probably wins this game 45-37 or something like that, in that ballpark. And I even think OSU could win. I'm not going to be shocked if I leave that stadium Saturday and they win. I'm not going to be shocked in the slightest. But I would take Tech. I was feeling different about it. I was like, maybe OSU will win. But then I remembered, I looked myself in the mirror and was like, you said that pretty much every game this season, and it hasn't happened. So
quit hurting yourself, man.
Yeah.
Quit hurting yourself.
But again, I can't. I was saying this on Monday to Curtis. I was like, OSU could literally be up 35-0 with 6 minutes left and find a way to lose, 38-35 and like the most crazy, unimaginable comeback in college football history. And I would maybe have feelings on it for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I'd like walk out of the stadium and be like, wow, like how'd they lose that? Like what the heck? And then I'd probably like leave the stadium and see
Snap
like
out of it.
and then see like the sun again and be like, okay, like
well,
what
you might
happened
not
there?
you might not see the sun if it goes a little late. The sun might be down.
It's true.
So.
It's that time of year. I might see a tree then.
Yeah,
I'll see a tree
there
and be
you
like,
go.
oh, okay. Football sucks.
Is this Saturday going to be Ollie Gordon's last game at Oklahoma State?
That's a good question. I think he'll suit up. I think he'll definitely suit up for Colorado and like travel there and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And here's the thing, though, T-Bag, is you can't blame him if it is.
No,
right? Because he's got
he's fought this whole season.
Yeah, exactly. He's done that, and he's got such a bright future in the NFL.
Yeah.
If he stays healthy and stuff like that. So you can't blame him. He fought his ass off this year, through injuries and stuff like that as well. So you can't blame him if he does say, you know what, we haven't won a conference game all season. We've lost 8 in a row, 9 in a row, whatever it's going to be, at that point, if they end up losing this weekend. So I don't think you can blame him. You tip your cap to him, say, you went out, you won best running back in the country last year. Everyone on the coaching staff kind of failed you this season, and you move on and you cheer for him in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be his last game. I don't know I'm not going to say yes or no.
Yeah,
for sure, because I don't think any of us really know. But I'm not gonna blame him in the slightest. I'm not gonna blame him really if he doesn't play Saturday.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can't.
I think he's gonna play Saturday. I do think.
Yeah.
I think he'll probably get 10, 15 carries. I don't think he's gonna get 30 carries or anything. But
yeah, look, you get him 5-6 carries, let him go. Have a day, and call it a career as a Cowboy. I don't think that's anything wrong with that. So
yeah.
What are the vibes for Mike Gundy at this point? We haven't talked in like a week. Has anything changed?
No, nothing's really changed, I guess. I mean, they're coming off. There's a bye week, so all's been kind of quiet.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything dumb on Monday at his press conference. At least I didn't watch it, but there's no quotes on Twitter.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't know. I'm at the point, Preston, and I went on a little tangent on this on Tuesday. I made a lot of OSU fans mad with it because I think I kind of gave a harsh reality that a lot of people don't want to admit right now. And I've been at this point, and I think I've been pretty consistent on this with Mike Gundy throughout the season, is I used to not like the "be careful what you wish for" crowd.
Yeah.
With people with Mike Gundy like 5-6 years ago. Never that Mike Gundy was ever going to get fired at that point or anything. With you always used to hear the older crowd be like, "Be careful what you wish for" with Mike Gundy. And I was like, "Oh, I mean, OSU's made themselves into a really good program. I mean, I think they're probably a top 20 job in the country right now. It's like I think they pay Mike well, so I never really liked that. But now I'm full on be careful what you wish for, because when I was saying that before, that was before NIL and that was before conference realignment.
Yeah.
And now what matters in college football? Money.
Both of those. Yeah, money.
And the Big Ten and the SEC, their TV revenues are unreal compared to the Big 12. Not that the Big 12 has a bad one. It's just Big Ten and SEC pretty much double what the Big 12 schools make. And the NIL and the alumni bases and the fan bases at those schools are just massively bigger than what most Big 12 schools have. And when you just look at it, it's like Kirk Cignetti, if this was 5 years ago, now he'd get a bigger job offer than Oklahoma State. But let's just say Oklahoma State or Indiana. He'd take Oklahoma State over Indiana any day of the week. But now they have such a huge fan base. They have such a committed NIL program. And they're in, one of the top – they're in the Power 2. There's a Power 2 out there right now. I mean, maybe not always on the football field, but if you're just talking in relevancy of college football, it sucks to say I'm a Big 12 guy. I am a Big 12 guy, but you have to talk reality at some point. I think OSU's maybe fallen into like the that 30 to 40 range job out there. The NIL isn't good. The revenue is okay. They make money, but it's not like whenever you can start paying players in college football, OSU is just going to be able to just be able to pay the $20 million, whatever it's going to be to all these players every year. And then on top of it, there's NIL still going to be a thing too. So there'll be money on top of that. Like OSU is just a little bit behind the 8 ball. I think they can catch up if the fans, get committed to it. But right now, I just don't think OSU is as good as a job as people want to make it out to be. It's still a really good job. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad job. I'm not saying it's what Kansas was in 2014. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not saying it's even like Iowa State. I think Oklahoma State's head and shoulders better than Iowa State, But if you're just talking in the landscape of college football, look at Vanderbilt and Indiana, 2 bottom feeders, Big Ten and SEC programs forever. NIL and super conferences become a thing, and all of a sudden they found life, with hitting the portal and getting these kids through NIL. And Oklahoma State's just kind of behind the 8 ball on that. So I just say this. Mike Gundy, I know it's hard to argue for him right now, being 0-7 in conference play, looking at a 3-9 season. How can it get worse from there? I agree. It can't really get worse than 3-9, in my opinion. Yeah, 2-10 is worse, but is it really that much worse? Not really.
Which they could have easily been 2-10 as well. That Arkansas game.
Yeah. That's yes. But I mean, really, is there a difference between 2-10 and 3-9? I mean, there really isn't.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know it can't get worse right now. I'm just saying, who better are you going to get than Mike Gundy right now? I think I prefer Mike Gundy try and fix this. If a year from now, 2 years from now, it's not better, then I'll have the conversation with you guys. But where I stand right now is I think I want Mike Gundy to try and fix this. That's who I want to try and fix this.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of if he will or won't. I don't know if he will. I don't know if he can. So that's just where it stands. But I'm probably in the minority in the fan base on that one.
I would say without the desire to recruit, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be real tough.
No, all the arguments, like I'm not going to argue anyone that tells me like otherwise. It's like you can't. The recruiting's bad. The win-loss is bad. Everything looks really bad right now. I mean, we've talked about on this show, OU and OSU are having terrible seasons, but OU can at least look at a little bit of a light in their future.
Yeah.
The tunnel might be really long, but OSU, like there's no light whatsoever. In OU, at least there's like a little bit of a light because they're recruiting. They're showing progress at least on one side of the field. So OSU just has nothing going for right now. So I can't argue anyone that wants to get rid of Mike Gundy. That's just what I said. Like, be careful what you wish for right now. So I don't think OSU is as good as a job as fans want it to be right now.
The tunnel that the Cowboys are looking in right now is painted by Wile E. Coyote. So yeah. All right, let's move on to some other college football this week. And not really too many ranked matchups. There's that top 5 matchup in Columbus as number 5 Indiana takes on number 2 Ohio State. Ohio State is 12-point favorite in that one. And I don't know if you saw this, T-Bag, but Joey Galloway continues to be a bum and have very bad takes. He said this week, I believe it was on the ranking show, that Indiana should bench their starting quarterback, the same starting quarterback that has them undefeated heading into this matchup this weekend. How dumb of a take is that?
It's just, I mean, what the hell, man? Like, this is football. This is football. You go out there to play and win the game, no matter who you are. That's football. And if you don't have that mindset, then get the hell out. It's that simple. That's just how I look at it.
Joey's always struck me as a big loser ever since he's been on TV. He always has like this one take that, and look, we're in the business. We've got coworkers that have takes, and they'll die on those takes, and I respect that. I personally don't really feel strong enough about really anything. I could be swayed either way, right? I could say something, you'll be like, well, here's this, and this. I'm like, oh, that actually kind of makes a little bit of sense, in some way. But there's guys out there, and Joey Galloway's one of them, where they spit out a take, and it's like there's no change in that guy's mind at all. He truly believes that. And no matter what you say or what, because even on the show, Reese Davis kind of like looked at him and you're like, Did you seriously just say that, dude?
Yeah, I was like, Greg McElroy was like, all right. He's like, just trying to get him to shut up. He's like, dude, just stop. Yeah, that was just dumb. And also, if you love college football and you want what's best for the fans, which we don't get a lot of right now.
Yeah.
It's all about the TV and the TV money and the revenues for these schools. I want the best players playing, no matter what. Yeah. That's what I want as a college football fan. So,
and the backup's not like terrible at Indiana.
Yeah,
but
I think he won them he played 1 or 2 games because
so
got hurt. Yeah, he's not terrible, but like, come on now.
Yeah, it was dumb. All right, and number 19, I should say, number 19 Army taking on number 6 Notre Dame. You did mention earlier, but the Hump Man and Sam Humphreys are the Hump Boy. Big Hump and Little Hump are out in New York City for this one. That game being played at Yankee Stadium, which is going to be pretty cool. But yeah, I saw those pictures. They got to actually tour West Point and all that stuff. So that was pretty cool. Yankee Stadium. Do we like that? Yes or no? We had Ohio State Northwestern at Wrigley Field last week. We got this one at Yankee Stadium. It would be weird if they had an actual football stadium in that town that they could play it in, but I guess that is unavailable. Maybe Taylor Swift.
I'd almost rather that game be at like MetLife, honestly. Just play on a regular football field. I don't like football fields being played on baseball fields. It's weird. But with this game in particular, I think this is just going to be one of those. There's a reason they're like Notre Dame players are at Notre Dame. And there's a reason Army players are Army. I mean, God, we all love our Army football players.
Yeah.
You know, we all love our, cadets. They're still our country.
We love our troops around here, yeah.
But I think most of those, unless you just, want to go to West Point for the education, for that. But most kids there will probably take the Notre Dame offer over the West Point offer. And I think that's going to kind of get proven on the field on Saturday. I think this
if you're Army, you can at least take in the fact that all of your players could probably beat the hell out of all the Notre Dame players in a
if this was just a fist fight, a straight up fist fight, give me the cadets.
Yeah.
I have a buddy that went to West Point.
Oh, really?
And he turned into I hope he never listens to this in his life. This certain part, because I don't want to give him this ego, because he already has an ego. He's one of my best friends, love him to death. I tell him he's an ego all the time. He could kill me with his pinky finger.
Yeah.
And in high school, I couldn't have said the same thing. So
I've got a buddy that spent some time in the Army, and he might like to think that way, but I think I can still take it.
Yeah, my buddy went to Ranger School, which was like you bastard.
Yeah.
I was like, you can't hold anything over me now. I was like, I went to Ranger School.
I know one of my other buddies went to the Air Force and he had to go through all the survival training, and he was telling me about it, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're probably a little bit more of a badass than what I originally thought, but I still in my head, I'm not going to call you that to boost up your ego. But we love.
You ever drinking 20 beers and smoking 6 cigs in a night? Didn't think so. Actually, they probably have. Military men like to party. What am I saying?
I've done that a lot. So all right. How about this BYU game? They're taking on Arizona State. Will the Big 12 have a playoff team this year?
Yeah, people like to talk about that. I think it'd be hard to leave out a Big 12 team. Like, for example, the 3 people that look like they're going to win it are going to be BYU, Arizona State, or Colorado. They're not leaving out Colorado. That's a guarantee. There's no way Colorado's going to be left out if they win the Big 12. And obviously, if BYU runs the table, you can't leave them out at 12-1 with a win over SMU in the non-con, and then beating Arizona State and Colorado, 2 of the last 3 weeks. And then Arizona State, I guess the doomsday would be, Army wins and Arizona State wins Army wins out, Arizona State wins the Big 12. But even then, dude, if you got a 11-2 Big 12 champ, they may not get the bye seed.
Here's the thing: if it's Colorado, they're getting in for sure. If it's BYU, I still think they're just because the Colorado has the Dion effect and Shadur and Travis Hunter and all that. BYU doesn't have that.
Yeah, but if they go 12-1, they're getting in.
Win the conference. Yeah,
they might not get a bye. They might not get the bye, but they're getting in.
Yeah.
And then if it's Army goes undefeated and then BYU or Arizona State ends up winning the league, I still think Arizona State's going to get in. I think that set just a really bad precedent that the committee just may not want to set.
Yeah.
But I think that would be the doomsday is all the favorites pretty much went out except Notre Dame. And like all the big SEC schools like went out. And Army goes undefeated, beats Notre Dame, and Arizona State wins the Big 12. Then you might, turn your head at it. But I still think the Big 12 is going to get a team in.
Yeah.
But it's only one. It's a guarantee. It's only one team.
Well, and there's a lot of teams out there, like the graphic they popped up during that ranking show the other day of Texas's key wins, Vanderbilt and Arkansas.
Yeah.
There's a lot of teams like that somehow avoided all the major, massive games and conferences this season. And, Texas is one of those. Indiana is one, for example. Penn State is one as well. So there's a lot of teams out there that are, up there in the rankings, but they haven't played anyone yet this season, really.
Yeah.
Speaking of the rankings, did you have any problems? I'll be completely honest with you. That these came out Tuesday night. I was watching the Thunder game, stuff like that, so don't care about the rankings at all, to be honest with you. But did you have a problem? Because I was driving home and the guys were talking about how that they had problems with them, I guess I should say.
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't have problems. I have one problem with like some of the fans and some of the media members out there, complaining about Indiana if they lose to Ohio State and stuff, but they played such a weak schedule. It's like, yeah, they did. I don't disagree. And if you want to leave them out, by all means, they lose to Ohio State.
They still won the games, though.
But they still won the games. But like, we're just going to disregard like that Penn State just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It'd be like there'd be a dead body that has all this like stab wounds, and then me and you are both covered in blood. And they're like, "Tyler, why'd you kill him?" And you're just sitting there with a knife and blood all over you as well, and you're like, "Just staying quiet." like Penn State, they have a better strength of schedule than Indiana, but they still lost to Ohio State at home, and they haven't beat any world beater. So like Illinois, I think like their second best win right now. Like, come on, like Illinois is decent. They're a decent football team, but. Come on now. So that's the only thing that's kind of making me mad. It's like there's just such a bias to the helmet logo on a lot of the stuff, and Penn State's kind of reaping that at the moment.
Yeah, no, 100%. All right, anything else in college football before we switch to the National Football League?
No, I'm scared for the National Football League talk too.
All right. You should be, because the first game we're going to talk about is Sunday morning, or I should say afternoon. At noon o'clock, that's when the Minnesota Vikings travel to Chicagoland to take on the Chicago Bears. Right now, the Vikings are 3.5-point favorite in that one. You got the Bears hat on. What are the vibes? Can this thing be fixed this season, or are we just building on to next year?
No, we're not playing for this season anymore. Now the Packers game sucked, and it sucked all of Sunday. But I kind of woke up on Monday. I was like, as bad as that was, and as bad as I wanted to beat the Packers, because it's been since I was literally a freshman in college.
Yeah.
2018.
Which I didn't know it was that long. Like they said, 2018. I was like, God, that was like forever ago. Yeah.
Yeah. LaFleur's never lost to the Bears. As much as I wanted that, and as much as it would have just been awesome to be like, ha ha ha, Caleb Williams in his first game beat the Packers. It's a new era. Just to play that card until they play again in Week 18, and then probably get stomped.
Hey, but you get a shot at him at Lambeau, right? I mean,
no, there's still a shot, but it would have been awesome to win that. I will say though, the offense looks so much better.
Yeah,
without Shane Waldron. They were actually, getting the ball out of Caleb's hands quick because the offensive line isn't any good. And so you got to get the ball out quick. They're telling him, he's been indecisive all year. He was actually decisive on where he's going to throw and stuff. So right now, just Caleb Williams keep progressing and, just don't break Caleb Williams. As simple as it is. Don't break Caleb Williams. If you lose, you lose. If you win, great. Don't break Caleb Williams. That's all I ask for the rest of the season. Don't break the guy, because it looked so close that he was officially broken. Like it was so close that he was like almost like officially broken. And then he goes out against the Packers. He plays really good. So I'm not happy with anything going on, but I can breathe a little now. I can
Yeah.
breathe a little.
To be honest, I didn't hear like what half you said because I've got a massive dog in here that was snoring very loudly. So I was trying to wake her up so she didn't start snoring so loud you could hear it. But no, don't give up on Caleb Williams. I think he's going to be a great quarterback. Just need somebody in there that knows what the hell they're doing, and things will get right. Another team had that issue, and they have since fixed those issues. But we'll talk about them later on as they play on Monday night. How about the Cowboys and Commanders? I can't help but just laugh every time I watch the Dallas Cowboys play football this year. They are a dumpster fire.
They're so bad. Even though Stadium can't stay up.
That's what I was doing something. I was doing Matt Pinto's show, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching the pregame, and something's falling off the roof. And I told Matt, I was like, imagine being Jerry Jones. You spend a whole week talking all kinds of mess, and then your stadium is falling apart right in front of your eyes on Monday Night Football. Are you there?
Yeah.
You got me?
I didn't even think about it. Yeah. I know. I didn't even think about the fact that he was spent. Like, we might as well just knock the stadium down. Like, yeah. I didn't even think about that fact until just now. Yeah. That is so funny whenever you like say that out loud, because he literally was like, "What do you want us to do? Just tear the stadium down?" Now it's like, well,
you might need to, bud.
the sun is making stuff fall from the ceiling now. The Cowboys are a complete dumpster fire, and why don't just play Trey Lance? I get he's good. He's not good. Like, I get that. But why as well just like be like, "Hey, dude, you're in year 3. We're going to throw you to the Wolves. Sorry about it."
It's because that old ass man that runs the show has no clue what he's doing. Is one of the big issues there. And I mean, you might as well, if you're like a Cowboys fan, start a petition or something to have Jerry Jones fire himself or something like that. Sell the team. Who knows? Whatever. But yeah, it's no hope for the Cowboys. We'll see. Something tells me they're still not going to be good next year. I don't know what tells me that, but that's just, so I'm going to go out on a limb.
Maybe that they're going to pay Micah Parsons and then lose even more of their surrounding roles.
Yeah, we'll just pay 3 guys all the money and hope we can win that way. Yeah. So we'll see about the Cowboys. Broncos at Raiders. How about Bo Nix? He's kind of sneaking into that rookie of the year talk, isn't he?
And I'm kind of like surprised by it. Not kind of, I am.
Yeah. No, I mean, we should be. He didn't play this good at either Auburn or Oregon.
Yeah, and like I got Oregon, he was like good, but like it was like not good at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're like, it's good because he has so much talent around him and stuff, and like he makes some plays, but then he plays Washington twice and can't beat them.
Yeah.
Once he played like really good competition. I thought Bo Nix was going to be like a decent NFL quarterback under Sean Payton. Like, it was Sean Payton's guy. I think Sean Payton could have trained him to be like a good quarterback, but never like like a good game managing quarterback. Never like anything. And I just still don't know if he's going to be a guy that can single-handedly win you games. But man, he's playing really, really good right now. I mean, he's second in Rookie of the Year odds.
Yeah, right behind Jaden Daniels. I do believe.
But he's playing amazing.
They're 6-5, I believe, on the season. I have that in front of me here. So,
that spread's was like 6 this week, and like I feel like that's like easy to take the Broncos. So like,
they're 6-point favorites. It's just the Raiders are so bad, man.
Yeah, that's why it's like you want to take the Broncos in that, but then again, it's like, is Vegas like telling you something here?
That one's being played in Vegas.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that is crazy. 6-point favorite in Vegas for the Broncos. I do not know. All right, how about another team that was good, bad, and now they're good again, leading their division? The Arizona Cardinals at the Seattle Seahawks. Arizona a 1-point favorite in this one. The Cardinals have been on, off. Now they're back on right now. They lead that division, which that division is A, injured, and B, I mean, it's going to be a dogfight to get out of that division.
Yeah. I don't know who's going to win that division.
I don't think anyone does. It's just so close in that division.
I would lean the Cardinals right now because they're playing really good football. I feel like they're playing I think the only reason we're like no on the Cardinals right now is just because they started slow and they weren't good last year.
Yeah.
No, granted, Kyler was hurt last year.
I mean, they've won
But
4 in a
they're
row.
playing they're playing the best in that division right now. Like for sure, they're playing the best in that division. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be an interesting game because I would say the Seahawks probably playing the second best right now, just because they won last week. And I mean, Rams playing pretty good. But they're all just kind of like the same, like in terms of like how good you feel about them, like the team per se. But I would probably lead the
Here's how
Cardinals.
close that division is right now. So the Cardinals are in first in that division at 6-4. The rest of those 3 teams are 5-5 right now. That's crazy.
Yeah. So all chaos can
we'll
really
see.
ensue this weekend too if the Rams, Niners, and then I guess the Seahawks would have to beat the Cardinals, and you got a 4-way tie.
Yeah, that would be epic. So definitely have my eyes on that one. And then how about Monday Night Football? It is
Harbaugh Bowl.
The Harbaugh Bowl. One of the hottest teams in the NFL taking on the Baltimore Ravens. That is the Los Angeles Chargers hosting the Ravens. Chargers coming to the game at 7-3. The Ravens come in at 7-4. The Chargers winners of 4 in a row. Justin Herbert might just be the best quarterback in the NFL right now, at least. Lad McConkey might be the coldest white boy in the league right now. J.K. Dobbins is balling his ass off right now as well. He is definitely in contention to be comeback player of the year. What else can I say? I'm in love with the Los Angeles Chargers right now, T-Bag.
Look at us. Or look at you. Look at you. I've been jealous of you since day one when you got Jim Harbaugh. I've been very open.
I love Jim Harbaugh. Oh my God. I can't get enough of him.
Just the way he's able to just rally the guys, rally the troops. He knows what he's doing when it comes to, just coaching and in-game coaching, decisions to win games.
Yeah.
The Chargers are playing really, really good right now. This is going to be, I love just Chargers money line in that game. So 3-point underdogs right now. So
yeah.
And the Chargers are playing great.
The home fans are finally starting to show up there. They have a little bit of a home environment there in LA. So it's a great time to be a Chargers fan. And like I said, from Jim Harbaugh catching footballs before the game to, after the game, they all sing "Who's a Jolly Good Fellow" in the locker room.
High five. Yes, high fives.
It's just ultimate vibes right now. You can tell everyone is bought in at the moment. And they're playing their asses off and playing good. They might not have the best players in the NFL, but they've got one of the best coaches, and I think that counts for something.
Gosh darn it, do they have some heart?
Yes. And I think that's exactly what Jim Harbaugh would say about
He's
that.
He's probably like having them watch like Any Given Sunday. And
yeah.
Remember the
and
Titans
also
and
this is the last time the brothers have played since that Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
So Jim's going to be getting some revenge, I think, in this game, hopefully.
Did they play this season after?
I don't think
they may not have, because AFC, NFC, so they probably didn't. So yeah, it probably was since the Super Bowl.
So we'll see. That'll be a big time matchup on Monday Night Football. Unfortunately, the Thunder play that night as well, so it would be bouncing back and forth.
Do you know how much fun the whole Harbaugh? Sorry to interrupt. Do you know how much fun the whole Harbaugh families would be having on Sunday?
Oh, it's gonna be a blast.
Like Jim and John get to coach football, which they love to do anyway. So they get to coach against each other. Then Dad and Mom Harbaugh are going to be, in the suite up there, with their half and half shirts and stuff. They're going to be having time with their lives. Just a football family that's just going to. Yeah. That's like giving a family a $50 million and be like, here's a free trip to Tahiti too. Yeah. Like that's like what they're gonna be feeling on that.
No, they're the first family of football right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Two guys doing it at the top.
And if
level.
someone tells you the Kelseys, then that's all you need to know about how they really feel about football.
Yeah, no, we like real football men around here. None of that. Pop star crap.
Curtis Fitzpatrick will tell you the Kelseys are the first family.
Yeah.
Because he's into that, elitist and, everyone should play in the dome stuff. Yeah. No, give me the football elements. Give me the football guys.
Yeah. And before anyone says the Chargers playing a dome, it's an open air stadium. It's
and to be fair with the Chargers also, it wouldn't matter in LA.
That is true.
It's an indoor climate, even if that stadium didn't have a bowl or it didn't have a
even though a couple of years ago they still had a weather delay in that stadium. So I was mystified by that. All right, one last thing in the NFL before we talk a little bit of Thunder. how cooked are the Jets? Because Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets, is going full Jerry Jones right now. He's attending like basically every meeting, between coaches and stuff like that. He's telling coaches who he wants benched. Hell, he even tried to bench Aaron Rodgers, is what is coming out now. He tried to get Aaron Rodgers benched after the Week 4 loss against the Denver Broncos. So, how cooked are the New York Jets?
Cooked beyond cooked. As
They're
bad
fried.
as I complain about the Bears and stuff. Boy, are the Jets just 20 times worse, which is very impressive.
Yeah.
And with Woody Johnson, I did kind of think of this, Preston. How hard, well, not how hard. Do you know how easy it is to be an NFL owner? Like, it might be the easiest job that pays you nine figures because you buy the team
and you stay the hell away from it.
You hire people that know what the hell they're doing, and you stay away and you sit on your couch and you watch your stock just go up, 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 or your ROI just keep going up, and then you watch your revenue you get in every year. After everything's all settled, you watch your $80 to $100 million just come in to your bank account. Like, it should be the easiest job ever.
But it's for some reason it's not. Yeah, it's not that easy for some of these guys, and I don't get it.
I know they just want to be too involved.
Like, normal old men just go and buy a sports car and get like a hot blonde girlfriend with fake boobs and stuff like that. These ultra rich guys are going out and buying sports teams, and they're screwing the whole thing up.
They're trying to run it like like a Fortune 500. Like,
yeah, no, exactly.
These guys might make a lot of money outside of football. Like, that's all this is.
You might be a smart businessman, but when it comes to the football field, get a football guy in there and let him run the damn show.
Yeah, like not to take it back to the Bears or anything, but like that, for example, that's the problem with the Bears. Is I think Ryan Poles is a really good GM, but he has to answer to Kevin Warren, who has to answer to George McCaskey.
Yeah.
So that's a bad pecking order right there. Ryan Poles knows way more than Kevin Warren or George McCaskey. And there's a lot of organizations that are like that. Their GM or whoever is running the show has to answer to people when that shouldn't be the case if you want to have a successful franchise. Let the smart people do smart things. Yeah. I heard a quote one time, and it's true in all walk of life. What is it?
Oh no, you tell me.
Hire smart people to make sure the smart people hire smart people.
Yes,
something like it's
that sounds like a good saying.
Yeah,
right?
it's
even if you just made that up, that sounds like something.
I actually haven't said.
Get down with. All right. Well, while you look that up, we're going to switch over to the National Basketball Association and your Oklahoma City Thunder, who are back on the winning track after they beat the Portland Trailblazers 109-99 last night in Oklahoma City. They're now on a 4-day break, so they've got some days off. Thank God they've got a couple of days off. That means I have a couple of days off as well. Isaiah Hartenstein is back. That's the biggest news. I kind of heard like last week, I know Matt Ravis said that he's ahead of schedule, so maybe expect him back after this 4-day break that they're having. But I think that they wanted to get him out there a home game, let him get some run against a team like the Trailblazers, because they've got a tough stretch of games coming up here next week when they play the Kings, the Lakers, and the Warriors, I believe they play as well. So they've got a decent stretch of games here. So I think they just wanted to get him some run out on the court for a little bit.
Yeah, and he played fantastic. Like he had the highest plus minus on the team. He was, you could just tell just how much easier it was for the other guys when he was on the court, knowing that they didn't have to just go bruise up.
The only bad part, and I know you were at the game last night. I don't know if you saw this, but he made 2 behind the back passes, and both the layups got blown. So and he turned around.
AJ's was blocked in his defense, but then Dylan Jones just straight up missed it. But yeah, he played great. You could during the game. I was literally just watching him the majority of the game. Like literally when he was on the court, I was just following what he was doing. When he's on defense, he's like commanding the defense. He's like the on-field defensive coordinator. That's what it felt like. Yeah. So, I think if when Chet comes back, I think it's going to be. I feel things.
David says, "Go Spurs." I do like Thunder if they're playing Dallas. David, we might not agree on much, but I can agree that I absolutely hate the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, screw the Mavs.
So I think T-Bag and I have each have friends that are big Mavericks fans.
I literally had one of them call me today. I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And he was like, "Hey, will you remind me who beat the Thunder last Sunday without Luka?" And I was like, I was just like, "Oh, that's the Dallas Mavericks."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, thank you." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "No worries." I was like, "There's a lot of basketball left to play. Like, I'll see you again. Like, I'll see you again."
Yeah, I texted my buddy this morning and I was like, "Man, that sucks that Luka's hurt, huh?" And he was like, "Yeah, well, he's still bleeding from his knee." And I was like, "Well, that's weird. I didn't know the wrist and the knee were connected." So
he's just a broken man.
He's fat, broken, and injured is what Luka Doncic is. So but the Thunder, they stopped their little skid they were on. They lost 2 games in a row. I think that was just A, being worn out, and B, not having any size. I think that's kind of what it was. So they're off of that. They got a little bit of size back. Hopefully Jay will be back in the next couple of weeks as well. And then obviously Chet's going to be out until after the All-Star break at some point. So but if they can get Jay Will back, they'll at least get you some size there, and you'll be good to go. There's a lot of people that were, clamoring, why aren't they playing? Is it Carlson, the guy that they signed? I'm blanking on his name.
Yeah.
I think it's
I can't think of it.
They're like, why isn't he getting any run? I'm like, first of all, he wasn't on an NBA roster. He's been on the Thunder roster for less than a week. They're not just going to throw this guy who's never played in the NBA out on the court just because they need someone that's over 7 feet tall.
Yeah, that'd probably be subtraction by addition right there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, he's just a total, like, all due respect to him. I mean, I don't think this is even a disrespectful thing to say. I think it's just the truth. He's just an experimental signing. Like, hey, let's just bring this guy in and see what he can do. And
Matt Ravis has kind of likened it to Bismack Biyombo last year. Like,
yeah,
it break glass in case of emergency is what Ravis, says. And I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, people should be clamoring for that.
Yeah.
I'd rather have J-Dub in a center.
Yes, 100%. There's something I'm kind of interested about because I haven't been able to get to a game. I'm hoping to maybe sneak to one here, in a couple of weeks or, in the next 2025 part of the season, maybe towards the back half. But what's the arena environment like, this early in the season? Injuries, obviously. Well, what's it like there in the arena during a game?
So it's funny you mentioned that because I was thinking about it last night because I think Wednesday night against Portland is like kind of the biggest duel you can like have.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, if the Pistons are in town.
Well, but it's like a church night, school night, stuff like that.
Yeah, 7 o'clock. I mean, I guess all weeknight games except Sunday are 7 o'clock. But yeah, I mean, you guys get what I'm saying. That's one of the bigger duels you can go to, and it's still a pretty good environment. It really is. Yeah. It's no one's cheering like defense in OKC all game, but when there's runs, like people are standing up and cheering. Yeah. It can get loud. So it's a good environment. That was the first game I've been to this season. I want to get to a game where they're playing someone good. I think I want to go to I think Friday night games against a good team are kind of like the best to go to in the regular season because they're always sold out. Everyone's always into it because most people are getting drunk during those games.
Yeah.
Like I went to the game last night. I'm not just out going to get hammered. I go work the next day and stuff. So those are kind of the games I want to go to a Friday game. So I've been to one or two before, but none of my adult age. But I was just like, no. And then like the Suns game last Friday, like those are the ones where it's like, yeah, those are the ones where it's like that's where the environment's getting good in the regular season.
I think Russell Westbrook was still on the roster the last game I went to. That's how long it's
been. Damn.
Well, the last 3 or 4 years I've been in studio for every game.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. Anything else before we wrap this up?
Ask Cindy for tickets.
I will have to because I want to get to a game. They play on my birthday coming up. I don't know. It might be a little too late to try and get to that one, but we'll see. I will be. I can promise this. I will be at a game at some point this season, somehow, some way. But anything else before we get out of here?
I think we covered it. Browns minus or Browns plus 3.5.
Yeah, right now it is Steelers 3-0. Browns have the ball around midfield. That on Amazon Prime. All right, that's going to do it for us. We'll be back Sunday evening, 6 p.m. We'll talk about college football from Saturday. We'll get into all the NFL games as well. But until then, y'all take it easy and have a good one. And see you on Sunday.